What's live, everybody? My name is Ashley Logan, and I'm your host for today's episode of He Say, She Say. I am here with the beautiful Miss Yaya and the absolutely gorgeous Miss Jasmine.
How you doing?
How are you guys?
Good, good. How are you?
I am good, thank you. So, ladies, we are going to get in the discussion of the gift that God gave us.
Oh no.
Which is intuition. Okay.
Is it a gift? Is it a gift?
I think it's a gift. Do you think it's a gift?
I guess. I think it's a gift.
It is
a blessing. It is.
And so my question is, I think, when was the first time you guys like realized our gift or your gift of like intuition? Like around what age were you when you discovered your intuition?
When it comes to just a relationship or just in general?
Yeah. Both.
Well, for me, in general, maybe around like 6th grade, and just this one girl I was running with, Edvina, yes, I'm saying her name, and she was just kind of like into a lot of different things, you know, and you know, something was just telling me like, you know, don't go with her this particular day. And back then, you know, you don't know intuition, but it was just like, yo, I can't ride with her this one day. And the day that I didn't end up going, she got into some really bad things, got arrested. You know, she was my across the street neighbor. And like from that point on, like her life really went downhill. So I guess that's the first time it really clicked in for me, just on like a general level. Intuition with guys. Oh, I don't even know. I don't remember the first time. I just remember just letting certain guys go because I knew they were going to be like out of control, like something was going on that I didn't know. And you know this person, like, and come to find out he was really into like hard drugs, like he was crazy, you know. So I kind of got out at a good time, you know, somewhat of a good time, but I guess that's the only way I can really, you know, put it.
I can remember being really intuitive pretty young. I remember just kind of being aware of certain things and kind of just having a knowing. Like I can't really pinpoint one specific incident where I was like, oh, that was my intuition, and I knew that. Right. But I remember as a kid, especially growing up, there was a lot of little things that I didn't know what to call it, but I just kind of knew that I knew certain things.
Shouldn't be.
Yeah, you know, and so I didn't really know what to call it. In terms of relationships, I think most of my intuition, or I notice my intuition more by how I'm attracted to somebody or what it is about them that I'm picking up on, or how I feel about what's going on. I pay more attention to that than it is like, oh, I think you're doing this, or oh, I think you're doing that. It's more about how I feel in the interaction. And so I don't know when that started either, but that's kind of where I think about it now, the way I think about intuition.
So has your intuition ever led you to just, well, you kind of answered that, you kind of both answered that, but has your intuition like just been like, yes, I know for a fact that something is, in respect to guys, I know something is going on, and then you find out that, look, something is going on? Like, have you ever just had that moment where you just felt like, I need to either leave him alone, or he's talking to another chick or something else, and it just proved to you that I need to listen to myself more often?
I think every single relationship, every single guy I've talked to, the intuition was like, yo, like, yeah, like, it's time to dip. And I've been in a couple situations, but, you know, thankfully, I really dodged a whole lot of bullets. Like, I'm good, you know, so every time, I don't know, I guess I just had a good upbringing, and I watched Oprah and Iyanla Vanzant, so I'm good.
What about you, Jasmine?
I mean, I have a little different perspective. Where I felt the relationship where I didn't pay enough attention to my intuition and it came back to be exactly what I thought it was actually with my first girlfriend. So I date women as well, and so with my first girlfriend, there were things that just didn't sit right, that I knew I couldn't pinpoint it, I couldn't figure it out, I couldn't prove it necessarily, but I knew that certain things in what she would tell me didn't add up, certain things in her story didn't add up, certain things in the way she was behaving didn't add up. And long story short, everything that I thought came out to be true long after the fact, but it it reminded me like, oh yeah, those little nudges you get, those little like, this is not sitting well, that little like feeling in your belly, that little, the handshaking, whatever the case may be, that they're there for a reason. And I think a lot of times what happens is we feel and we know something, but we dismiss it, or we justify it, or we try to rationalize it, or we try to make it seem like that's not what we know.
Or let them talk you out
or let you talk, or let them talk you out of it, or convince you it's otherwise.
Right.
And I think that's the hard part about intuition, is that you can know it, but you don't know it at the time,
Right.
so it's hard to really, you know.
But there's a lot of factors, and that's the hard part about it. So it's kind of like there's always a question where it's like, am I being intuitive or am I being
paranoid? Thank you so much for dragging me or leading me into my next half of this whole discussion, is that after those situations that you guys have been in where you just completely disregarded your intuition, did you find yourself starting to become paranoid about the next person you were dating? They didn't necessarily have to do anything that made you think that they were being dishonest, but now you kind of have this wall, or you know, you got
filters
and extra eyes, and you're like, okay, well, maybe he or she is up to something. Like, did you start to feel that afterward, after you ignored it?
I think that not so much, I don't know if it's so much intuition, like ignoring intuition, but after you've been through so many different types of situations, I mean, I guess if you do ignore your intuition, you get into certain things, but I think just after being hurt or disappointed so many times, it doesn't matter what the topic may be, you're going to always be skeptical of it. So,
yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know, I don't think that's necessarily intuition or paranoia, but I think you learn certain things, and you learn to pick up on certain things that you may have overlooked before, and you're like, no, I'm not going to overlook it this time. And so I think you have a different way of approaching new relationships that you would not have had you hadn't gone through the experience that you've gone through. So like for me, I think throughout my life and throughout the relationships, I think a common theme has just been trying to take whatever lesson I took from the past relationship, or whatever lesson I needed to go through, and however it ended or however it started, or whatever I needed to learn, find out what the lesson is, so that I can approach the next relationship in a different way, but not carry and not be blind to what I was blind to before.
So not necessarily making the next person suffer.
Yeah, but just me being more aware of.
But you taking more responsibility for your role in the relationship.
Yeah, and how certain things happen, and certain things that, you know, I may want to speak up on, but I don't, and or that I didn't before. And so it's just really evaluating, okay, well, what, I didn't like that, or I did like that, or whatever the case may be. How can I learn the lesson I need to learn, so that my next relationship, I don't fall into that trap, or I don't feel the same way. I don't feel like I was misled. I don't feel like, you know, whatever the case may be.
And I kind of like, I wish we had a guy sitting right here, because sometimes, like, for women, it's kind of like you say, using what you learned in the past, and you're just kind of like more aware, you're more smarter about your decisions. But a lot of guys take it as if you're dragging old baggage from the past relationship into this new one. So I think a lot of the times women might ignore what they've learned or their intuition, because they don't want to make it seem like they're dragging their old relationship into this new one. So I think guys kind of make us feel like that, which make us want to be more quiet and like, well, you know, maybe I'm just tripping. You know, maybe I'm just tripping. When you know you're really not.
This is an Ujamaa production.